Here we are, off the edge with your host, Cam Jordan. I'm excited. I just thought about this. I've been blessed to have a lot of amazing people come online, sit here at the pod, to have amazing listeners and viewers tap in. I've been around this media space for, the podcast space for about 5-6 years now. The second season on Off the Edge. And I just want to shout out to everybody listening. Thank you. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for being you. As a listener, you're valued. And speaking of valued players, I'll go ahead and bring in a man who is clearly a valuable player. A slot receiver that's won at the highest level, Super Bowl. The man that may have seen not one, not two, but like 3 Super Bowl championships. I just want to go to a Super Bowl. A guy who has been a part of the New England Patriots is one of the, all dynasty team members. Somebody who's seen the success at every level and is, of course, a media personality himself. And probably will see him sometime during my bye week. A man who still leaves the term athlete on his IG bio. We talking about Julian Edelman. Big dog. Appreciate you coming in.
No problem. No problem. Thank you to the listeners too, man. That was a beautiful opening right there. Value the listener. I mean, that's a football guy right there. Got to always display value.
Big team, big team, little me. But I'm just simply thinking, like, let's just talk about this. Athlete in the bio. You still consider
Yeah.
yourself an athlete. You still work out. You like that. You built for the game today.
I don't know if I could go out and play today, but I mean, I have everything in my life because of athleticism or athletics.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, I mean, I'm an athlete. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I know this media stuff now, but you should see me on the badminton court.
Ooh,
Getting that
I was
dough
hoping you
up.
said so. Pickleball.
Wah!
Yeah. Flick of the wrist. Catch him.
Yeah, it's wrist and elbow.
Love that for you. Speaking of the media part though, I mean, what haven't you done? You're on the Fox NFL Sunday show as a sports analyst. You host not one but 2 podcasts. Man, you never stop working. Co-founded a production company. Nut House Sports. I've seen on your IG. You got riddled all types of like skits and everything else from there. Like it's entertainment at its finest, highest levels. Uh,
It's been fun.
I'll say what inspired you to have your own production company?
It all started with making short form content back in like 2010, 11. Everyone knows playing for the New England Patriots. There's a certain way you have to handle the media when it comes to football and work. And this is like the beginning stages of social media where you had your own platform. And so, with how I handled the media as a Patriot, it was so different, or it was so difficult to show your personality and who you really were off the field. And it all started with making stupid spoof videos. And I fell in love with it, got comfortable behind the camera, loved the process of, you know, making something. We started off with smoothie time, then it went to burger time, then we would produce these little Google Glass videos, and then it turned into a thing where, you have a team of people, you're behind the camera, but the people behind the camera all working together to make this content. It's something that's been fun, and it allows me to be a part of a team still, and I enjoy it. So that's kind of like where it started, and then turned into making documentaries and producing podcasts, having live shows. We did pop-up shops. I was like one of those first athletes on social media that was trying to identify and make his own brand instead of making other brands, more valuable. Like we were talking earlier in the show, trying to bring value to me as a person and then license my name to other big brands.
Mm. NIL is all I heard. Okay, before there was NIL, you know what it is.
Wish we had it. Wish we had it. You see these gosh darn freaking player lots and at the SEC rolling up looking better than our player lots. I mean, I seen like 6, 7, 8 Lambos.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being $22 with like 5 million bucks in your bank account?
I mean, I feel like it was still done. You remember Terrell Pryor back in Ohio State days, and they're like, "Stop coming
Yeah,
up
that
with
was a
new cars,"
tattoo.
and yeah, exactly,
It was a
exactly.
tattoo of maybe one car, but you roll up into these player lots now, man. It's crazy
Oh, Hellcat packages everywhere, Scat packs.
everywhere.
Oh,
Hell,
Lambos with the Range Rover. I couldn't imagine 18, 19 years old with a Range.
no. You know, when we were kids,
Life would have
when we were
changed.
young playing in college, it was about like
Struggling. It was about
it was
struggling.
struggle, but it was about like you had a sick TV like setup and
Hell yeah.
PlayStation because you were on, you know, you lived in the Section 8 housing because you couldn't have money and you got extra money and rent was only like $75 and that was your way of kind of living
Ooh.
fresh was, you know, you had a big screen TV and an Xbox and some sweet speakers. Now it's a whole different league.
Yeah, my biggest fear was, did I have enough to cover rent as well as the bills and some and enough money for a date. Boy, I ain't even worried about that right now. What's the kid, the 5-star kid that flipped from LSU to Michigan? They're talking about it's a $10 million deal. And I said, first of all, I said millions? Me? In college, I wouldn't have been a football player. I would be like, no, so this is it for me. Hey, I'm gonna go be a lawyer. I've started my own law firm.
I bet you it does sift out a lot of guys though. This
Right,
money,
right,
this new money, it's going to make it harder for, you know, guys to be great in the league. If you're going to have to truly love football now, as a young athlete, to go out and basically have those blinders on with all the money that they could make at such an early stage in their life. You know, if guys can realize that that's just a splash of what you could really make, and if you just focus on football and you win and you perform well, all that NIL stuff will come on its own.
right. Hey, when I was younger, I first got to the league. I said, "Look, I just want to put my head down and work." And it wasn't the first or second Pro Bowl that got me to a little bit of spotlight. It was like the third, fourth. Oh, okay. Now that I've established myself as a great player, now I can actually like get some deals coming in because I wasn't in a big market. It wasn't L.A., New York.
Yeah.
Pats winning. Green Bay because there's nothing else in Green Bay. I mean, I'm in New Orleans, a smaller market. Just you have to win as well as have a personality as well as be able to push yourself in media. But man,
You
just
did a
think
good
about that.
job. I
Not
mean,
bad.
look at you.
You know,
You got
Co-
shows, you still playing, you got 5 shows I see every year on our show on Fox. I mean, you got a lot of great stuff cooking.
Yeah, because there's guys that like the Mike Strahans that I watched do it. You who did it, which I mean, you said back in 2010, 11, which that almost puts you at like the Vine days. Like and guys ain't
He
even.
had mine.
That's
He
what
had
I was
mine.
like. Did you say short
It's
content? I was like,
TikTok, guys. It'll turn into TikTok, I swear.
but did your media career like help you transition from the game, make that a little bit easier? That second phase of
Yeah,
life.
you know, I didn't know necessarily that I was going to get into TV. I kind of parlayed a deal with Paramount for my production company. So I said I would do your TV show right out of, you know, retirement if you were to, you know, give my production company some funding and also some office space. So I kind of tried to parlay that. And then once I got on camera and started doing it and hanging out with guys like, you know, Mike Irving, Ray Lewis, James Brown on Inside the NFL, Brandon Marshall, like I realized that the stuff you missed when you were playing was that locker room environment, and you get a little bit of that with the TV, where you get to talk old war stories with guys that, you know, from different generations. Now I work on Fox, and you know I got Charles Woodson, Michael Vick, Carissa Schrager, and then you have the big team with, you know, Terry, Howie, Michael. And Jimmy, Coach Jimmy, and you get to have those kind of locker room environments in the green rooms with those guys, and that's what you really miss. I mean, I miss competing, but you know you'll never have that because your body's not the same. So you get a taste of that when you jump in media. And I had a plan. I had a good team around me when I retired, and I did enough stuff off the field, like I said, with social media and creating content and where I had options after I played. I think a lot of guys get in trouble when they retire, when they have a lot of free time, and they don't know how to handle it because we're herd animals when you're an athlete that's been a professional athlete for a long time. You've been having the same schedule since you were probably in high school, where you go to school, you go to practice, you do homework, and then you do it again. And the school is flipped when you're a pro with, you know, football school where you're studying and you're identifying other teams and you're game planning, but it's the same schedule. So I think a lot of guys get in trouble when they get in, when they retire, when they don't have things to do afterwards. So it was great for me to have a good team and a bunch of things I was interested off the field that led into my future after football.
What Mike Tyson say? Like, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Peace.
Everybody swears they're gonna play in the NFL for forever, or I'll worry about it when it's done. But when it's done and there ain't
Yeah.
nothing around, now what?
You gotta keep your chickens, as Marshawn Lynch
Yeah,
said, and
take care of
save
your mentals, take care
bread.
of your chickens.
Yeah, take care of your chickens.
No, you got the podcast with Gronk and co-hosting Dudes with Dudes. When I scrolled through the IG earlier, I was like, Dudes on Dudes. Dudes with Dudes is a way better title, by the way.
Dudes on dudes.
Dudes, dudes, dudes on Dudes is wild, but um, you guys also work on Fox NFL Sunday. So like, how did that go? You teammates to partners on the pod.
Yeah, no. Dudes on Dudes has been fun. It's a fun concept, funny concept where we go out and we determine what kind of dude each guy is that we go over. So there's 5 different dudes. There's a dudes dude, there's a freak, there's a stud, there's a whiz, and there's a dog. They all have their kind of forms of how we think they are. Dude's a glue guy, a dog, someone who's mentally, physically, emotionally, just mentally tough. Stud is a guy that has pedigree. He's always been great. Freak is a one of a kind. And then a dude's a glue guy. And it's been fun to kind of go over guys that we played against, legends of the past, and guys that are playing now, and kind of determining what kind of dude each guy is, because that's what you do when you're in the locker room, when you're sitting there with the homies with your 5-minute meeting before the next, or a 5-minute break in the locker room before your next meeting. You sit there and you're like, man, did you watch that dude on film? Man, he was crazy. That was insane. You know what I mean? That's what we all do when we're in the locker room. You're studying guys. It's kind of funny to hear you're studying guys. Studying guys.
Yeah, you pair that up with my Dudes on Dudes comment, and then it gets
Yeah.
real freaky.
Hey, baby, dudes on dudes.
Dang it. There should be a sixth category though. Like there should be one like
What's the sixth category, Cam?
the 1B dudes. Like the dudes that talk like they want to be in the league, talk like they want to be the guy, but when they walk, you like, I don't really see what you're talking about. The ones that like, I want to live I'm a hard hitter, but he's not really a hard hitter. Or the one that
Yeah.
you know
Frauds? A fraud guy?
fraudulent activities aplenty.
Yeah. You know what? We could do that, but we want
You want to
to
uplift.
celebrate. We want to celebrate and uplift guys
Okay.
that in our sport, in other sports. There's a lot of place on the internet for bringing guys down.
Just check X out. I almost said Twitter, but apparently
Yeah.
it's X. Yeah, if you want some darkness, go to X. X will let
Yeah.
you know exactly what you never wanted to be.
Hey, we're celebrating.
Yeah.
We're celebrating.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of dude would I be then?
Man,
Yeah,
you look
dudes.
at first team All Pro, bunch of Pro Bowl, second team All Pro. You got a pedigree. You could be just a straight out stud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're a stud.
Yeah, used to love that Rob Ryan term, stud muffin.
You're already jumping into another workforce while you're in the other. You anything you touch, you're good at. So I would put you in the stud category.
Hell yeah.
A sneaky 11 sacks on a quiet year for you. That's like stud right there. You get a 15 here, but man, maybe missed a couple with the ankle. 4 games, still get 9.5, 10 sacks. get a few and get a 5 sack. Did you have like a 6 sack game once? I remember
No,
watching, or a
four, just
four.
four, just a
I
meager
remember that.
four.
I remember that. That's a stud
Yeah, good against the Can't Atlanta Falcons. Love it.
against a division rival. That's even better. That's
Hey,
what people don't realize. That's hard. You guys see each other twice a year. That's hard.
on Thanksgiving Thursday,
Hey, you're thankful for those 4 sacks.
no doubt. I had the wings and the legs. Give me all four. Give me that.
Did you get the leg?
Oh yeah, I did. You gotta get
Good.
the dry turkey because it's been sitting there for like an hour. I
The
said,
dirt ducking?
yeah, turkey. You're trying to answer questions while you got they need to at least bring some like cranberry juice or like a little bit of sparkling champagne, something.
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 I Thanksgiving, I probably would have got a turkey leg, but I was knocked out after I got obliterated, a reset button on a reverse, but it was the butt fumble game. Remember
Mm.
the Mark Sanchez butt fumble
Yeah,
game?
there's only one butt fumble game.
That was on Thanksgiving.
Jeez, was it?
Yeah, I scored a touchdown, like a deep one, like a 45-yard touchdown. Brady hit me on a blitz zero. Then we were kicking off. McKnight, RIP, McCourty hit McKnight on kickoff. The ball popped up in the air. I took the ball in midair and ran it for a touchdown. So we scored big touchdown, that touchdown, and then the very next drive was the butt fumble. We scored like 21 points in freaking like 28 seconds or something. It was gnarly.
Mm.
That's Thanksgiving. That's a tease of what we have coming next week for all you listeners. Thanksgiving is a very fun day for everyone to have their platform and their tradition of getting to play football on Thanksgiving.
Right? Like, 30 years
Do you
from
like
now.
playing on Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Yeah. I chuck up fall holidays as a loss anyways. I'm like,
Yeah.
all the spring holidays, that's what dad's here for. That's what I'm here for. Summer for sure. Then fall, hey, if I'm there, I'm there, and I'm gonna make the best of it. If I'm not, I didn't expect to be there. I expected to have practice on Thanksgiving. I expect to have practice on Christmas. I'm trying to win. And if winning takes me not being around for Thanksgiving or Christmas, that's all right. That's if you're a good enough person, you make every day Christmas anyways.
But I look at it also as we're kind of, when you're playing with guys, at least where I was at, you're with their family. You spend so much goddamn time with your teammates more than you do with your family during the football season, that it's always super exciting on those holidays, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, when you had a practice or you had a game, and there was always some sort of excitement. If it was a practice, you had your practice on the practice field, and then you had short days. So after practice, you got to go home and spend it with the family. It was just, there was always a bit of excitement I felt when it was a holiday and you had to practice, and or you had a game on there. And then afterwards, you get to go spend it with the family. I just enjoyed. That's what we know as football players.
Absolutely, bro. I remember my younger years before we had like our first couple games on Thanksgiving. We would practice on Thanksgiving, and then we would have we would practice early, like it would be like a half day. But after that practice, we'd have the turkey bowl where the coaches would line up for defensive coaches versus offensive coaches for one play, and it's either a stop or a go. You know what I'm saying? Like we had the boombox going, music playing, and the guys loved it. Looked forward to it.
Look forward to it. Nothing more fun watching coaches go out and compete against each other.
Compete.
You get to motherfuck them for their technique.
Hey, talking all types of craziness to your D-line coach. You said you're supposed to shed, coach. Remember, you are too high on the right on the quarterback. You knew better.
Hey, give me the double deke on the release. Get low. Give me a swipe. Give me a swipe, Chatty. Oh, those calves are looking big.
No doubt. Dan Campbell at tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like back in his glory days.
Hell
like
yeah.
Running a little, Sean Payton trying to toss one to him. Meanwhile, got guys like Brian Young pass rushing with giving it all.
I was a young fan. I loved Brian Young. Remember he used to wear the double helmet on the helmet?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
He was doing the Guardian cap before the Guardian cap was even born.
Cool. Exactly. That's wild. Oh man. Like I said, that's great times. But I also wanted to bring it in, just thinking about that, just like you should talk about team camaraderie. It's like the loyalty factor. You played pretty much like the whole career with one team.
Yeah.
Like, is that like a badge of honor? Because I feel like it is.
It is. In this day and age, um, I think it is a badge of honor, and I remember, when I was going through the free agent processes of potentially leaving, we had something special, and I knew that I may have got more money going to another place, but say you go to another place, you get a new coaching staff in 2 years, you're not making money, you got a new regime coming in. It's just, it's different. It was always special when you were a kid and you had your favorite guy that stayed on one team. So I do wear it as a badge of honor, and I'm very blessed and honored that I got to be a New England Patriot my whole career.
Man, yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't imagine you anywhere else. Sort of felt like not to downplay, like the Wes Welker, like the Jerry Rice, like the all time greats. You think of like one team, and all of a sudden he's on another, and it just doesn't feel the same. Namdi Asamoah, like go to Philly, and you're like you're the guy, and then because you're on a different
Big
team,
as
like
Namdi when he
yeah,
was in. He wasn't old Namdi anymore.
that's what like. Yeah, it's just like we like it just feels wrong as a fan. Like Brett Favre, because I was born in Minnesota, possibly for the Vikings. I hated Green Bay all my life, and next thing I know, he's donning a Vikings jersey. I was
Yeah.
disgusted. I stopped being a fan for a short time.
Yeah. No, but it's also a different generation and a different age with fans because of fantasy football. And
Mm,
back when we were kids, at least when I was a kid, fantasy was just coming around, but you didn't know. You only watched your team. Now, when you were playing, you roll into another city and then someone rolls up to you and says, "Man, you got me 8 points in fantasy last week. Thanks, bro."
right.
Like Minnesota, like that never happened back in the day
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I don't remember NFL All Access Pass. This the accessibility of it all. You were locked in on your team, like
on
left.
your team.
Like that's it. There was no, I don't know if there definitely wasn't YouTube in 95, 96. Like, so
Yeah.
where were you catching highlights for the game? So
Sports Center,
Sports Center,
prime time,
exactly. Top 10. If your team wasn't on
boomer.
there, that's it.
That was it. You
Oh,
see that same Sports Center clip 5 times,
all right.
and
All right, man. I'm at this point, I'm 14 years in with the Saints. Like,
geez, look at
could
that.
you imagine? Like, I've imagined myself donning a different jersey, and I was like, is it worth it? That's what it comes down to. Like, all money isn't good money because, like you said, you got head coach changes. You're just going in, and now you're like, oh, just hired him as an OG instead of like an integral piece. There's there's so many different ways you could look at it, but
And there's comfort. There comfort costs money.
man,
If you want to go somewhere else, where you have to learn a whole new system, you got to learn a new team, you got to learn new people in the building. Uh, you know, when you're with some place for a long time, I mean, you roll up and you see our parking lady give a
know
hug
everybody.
for 5 minutes. You go in the cafeteria, you see all your lunch ladies and lunch people. You're walking through the tunnel and you see old Marv who works on the field.
Yeah,
There's just there's a thing about being with somewhere for a long time that's just it's special and
exactly.
it's comfortable.
One of your guy personnel guys, Adam, knows all the
Yeah,
kids. Tyler,
yeah,
photographer. He's like, hey, if you ever need just regular photos, just let me know. Just like great people that you get to
yeah.
build like a rapport with. Um,
In Boston, you get like a bunch of there'd be Mary Ann, there'd be a Charlene, there'd be
Charlie.
Timmy Gas Pipe over there down in the hall. All these Boston people. So you have a relationship and it becomes part of who
Lifelong,
you are.
absolutely lifelong. Since I don't have a Super Bowl trophy, I'm just going to ask you: where do you keep your Super Bowl MVP trophy?
It's in the studio. It's in the Nut House.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
So
is.
we have if you watch our show, we have a cool like wall of memorabilia through the years, which was essentially just a bunch of that was sent to me after I retired, where you accumulate boxes and boxes of things, as you know. in the locker room over years. It was fun to go through that and put it all on the wall for the show, and that's where that trophy is.
Mm.
Dirty Tiffany's ball. I wish I got a car though. And it was the first year they didn't give a goddamn car for Super Bowl MVP.
Blah. Brah. That's
And even though the cars get old, I remember when I was a young player, Tom got an MVP and he had his Escalade in the parking lot, and it'd be like 5, 8 years old, but it was still a Super Bowl car, like MVP car that he would drive every once in a while. Deion Branch had a Cadillac coupe that he got when he won one, so it was like a badge of honor. Because everyone always had their new cars in the lot. But if you saw this like 5, 6-year-old car roll up in there, you're like, oh, what? Oh, MVP car. MVP car.
Didn't good old Tom buy James White a Super Bowl MVP? Give him the Super Bowl MVP car? What?
I think he gave Malcolm Butler the car after the pick.
Okay.
So I think by then Tom's had so many of those things. It's hard to track that for accounting and tax reasons. So he probably just gave it away just so he doesn't.
No, I don't want to deal with this. Don't write it down. Give it to my dog, Malcolm Butler. No, touche. You're one of only 9 receivers to win Super Bowl MVP. You know this. No,
I didn't know there was 9.
Yeah, can you name the other 8?
Well, I know Jerry did it. I know Holmes did it. I know Cup did it. Deion Branch did it. That's 4. Who else? Did Lynn Swann do it?
Yeah, he did. Okay.
Lynn Swann.
Historian over here.
5. Who else? Where?
Steelers.
Did I say Holmes? I said Holmes, right?
Yep. But you're missing one.
There's another Steelers. Was Hines?
Yeah. There we go.
It was 2. I forget. So that's 6. I got 2 more.
One of them became like an award, college award.
One of them became a college award. What years?
That is at the very beginning, right after Lynn Swann.
Oh. That's one of those tough guys.
Yeah. Fred Biletnikoff.
The Biletnikoff. What the f***?
Boom. Exactly. Kaboom. That's the only reason why that might have helped.
Biletnikoff.
And then, man. Yeah. That's impressive. And Desmond Howard.
Well, he was a kick returner. That was with the Packers when he housed it. Wouldn't put it.
You're not gonna claim him.
We'll claim him. I'm a teamer. I'm a punt returner too, so we'll definitely claim him. But like when you think of Desmond Howard, I don't remember him. You remember him as receiver, but he always had such electrifying like kickoff returns. Right. And I remember that when that was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but at least he was
so fun. Yeah. And he was like, remember him and Dante Hall back in the day?
Do I?
The joystick.
Exactly. But then they followed up with, possibly the greatest returner ever just a few years later with Devin Hester. And I was like, nobody's gonna be better than Dante Hall. Devin Hester showed up. I was like, nobody's gonna be better than Dante Hall than Devin Hester. And Cordell Patterson came up, and I said, well, okay.
You got to put some love to Cribbs too. Josh Cribbs is a monster on special teams for a long time.
Facts.
And I remember when I was at Kent State, and he was the quarterback before me at Kent State. And when we go up to Cleveland, people forget how big Josh Cribbs was. I mean, he was on the sides of buildings for Nike ads.
Absolutely.
Like the guy in Cleveland, their only form of any kind of offense, and it was on special teams, and they used to do a bunch of Wildcat stuff. So Josh Cribbs got to be put in there too for returners. Aaron Sproles was really good at a punt returning.
Deshaun
Jackson, home runner. I just still see him catching. I don't know. He's still catching 70-yard touchdowns. I think he just caught another 55-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
I don't know how to let this guy get behind you every time.
He's
every time.
because he's
Remember the
short and
walk-off
has like the deceptive speed, bro. Like, and you just like, how is he that fast gliding?
glide? I mean, that's one of these.
Hmm.
God touch you with that speed.
Gotta give you a little
He
extra
just
special.
he just touched you.
Oh man, I mean, with your illustrious career, like you're coming up on eligibility of what that HOF. How you
Yeah.
how does what does it even feel to be like mentioned in that same sentence? Because that's rare air, rare.
Ah, it's pretty cool. I mean, usually it's a lot of negative talk if anyone's talking about it. But if they're talking about it and even putting you in that sentence, uh, it's pretty damn cool. But ultimately, that was never my goal. When I was playing football, my goal was to hoist a Lombardi trophy, and I got to do that 3 times
Three
and
times.
playing 4 times.
Mm,
5, I didn't play with my ACL year, but so like that's where I'm content. But it's an absolute honor that people even talk about it because you look at the names and the people and the guys that I grew up watching and guys peers that I played with that have already gone in, like those that's the cream of the crop right there.
facts. You look at your postseason
Better than the
stats.
cream.
I mean,
Mhm.
postseason stats where your stats speak the loudest. Third all time in playoff receiving yards. Third all time in playoff receptions. Like like it's too.
Yeah, it was a hell of a run. It was a hell of a run.
Still gonna remember probably one of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. So like, if we're saying those stats matter
I mean, some would say that those stats matter the most,
the
but
most.
those would usually be winners.
Mm. Yeah, you done won three of them things, Lord.
I'm just-
I'm just
I
yeah,
mean,
just
it was still cool to be a part of that organization. I mean, I remember when I got drafted to New England, uh, I was a huge Niners fan growing up. Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Brent Jones, Ken Norton, and the success that they had when I was really young, and then they got the Super Bowl in the '90s when I was pretty much able to remember. But they were such a folklore of a team to our family, and then to get drafted to New England, and they had 3 Super Bowls at the time when I got drafted there, and they were kind of getting in that like Niners, Steelers, Cowboys world of organizations. It was just like I was pinching myself because I was like, man, I'm on the San Francisco 49ers of this generation. When I first got there, with Tom Brady, you had the quarterback and you had the coach. They had, Niners had Bill Walsh, we had Belichick and the great defenses and the key players around. Like it was such a cool thing to be a part of. I'm really thankful for that. I don't know if it's because of Thanksgiving, but I just got so much thankfulness going right
yeah.
now. I'm thankful.
Also, you had Tom Brady and come out of Michigan, and I was like 7th round pick in his story, your story. Well, like the fact that you guys are great teammates. I was just thinking, like, is there, I'm thinking of the game last night when you watch, your game, whatever, this last game where you watch Jameis Winston inspire the Cleveland Browns to go rally past the Steelers. I'm just thinking about in your illustrious career, was there ever a need for Tom to give you like a rally, a hoorah? Like, with you guys' patented success, was there ever time it was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, we're gonna kick it in gear. I just feel like Tom Brady in my mind is always like business as usual. Look, we're gonna give me. I'm gonna take the rock. I'm gonna give you the rock. We're gonna win.
Yeah, there's definitely been some stuff captured on the sidelines of Tom being vocal. But as with Tom, there was a lot of unseen stuff, individual stuff. If he knew you were having a hard day, or he knew something was going on in someone's life, or someone needed to pick me up, it may not have been around people, but he'd walk you over and see what was up and what he could do to help to get you better. And I think there was countless of those times because, as you know, the NFL season is such a grind, mentally, emotionally, physically. And that's all just within the game. And the people don't realize that you're a regular human being and you have off the field and regular life stuff that you have to deal with, family, mail, family matters, health of family, things of those magnitude and those things going on in your life, which that's hard to juggle for young guys. And, Tom was a veteran when I got in there. So he was always a great guy that could, give me through his experience advice. So he's always a guy that could, with a lot of guys, with anyone, it wouldn't be necessarily in front of people, but he would always kind of, buddy up with you in the locker room and kind of see what was going on.
Mm. I mean, true leaders.
Leaders, they all have different ways of leading.
Facts. Facts. All right, let's transition to a little bit lighter talk about a fun topic. Just because now you're in LA, you've spent your entire career with Boston. Hit a little East Coast versus West Coast lore here, but we'll do a fun section called Versus, where we'll ask you. I'll ask you a few questions about which is better, LA or Boston. And as a fat kid, we're going to start off with the important question: better food.
Ooh, it's tough. I have to go LA.
Yeah.
Have to go LA. Now, if you want like unbelievable lobster, oysters, Italian, Boston is really great. But I have a bias because I'm from California and I love Mexican food.
Hallelujah.
And the Mexican food out in Boston, I found my one, what was it? Jalisco's is pretty good, but just pound for pound, Mexican out here. I got to go with the Mexican. I can't get the Italian of the East Coast,
Right.
but I'm a Mexican food guy.
Man,
I'd rather have a burrito and an enchilada.
Ooh, I'm a chili relleno or carne asada fries. Every time I hit the West Coast, I need the carne asada fries. They're not hitting the same in Louisiana.
Nah,
all right,
they're not.
Your better restaurants.
Better see. I like that difference of that question.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Boston. I have more fun, and I like the restaurant game there because it's a different environment. LA, you go to the restaurant, it's sceney. Sometimes you just want to go have a nice meal with a couple of the boys in like a little brownstone under, an establishment in Boston where
Right.
you can get a hideout, get some, oysters, get it, so for restaurants, and I love, Ken Oranger and his restaurants out in Boston a bunch. I got a bunch of friends in that chef world in Boston. I'm going to have to go with Boston.
Okay. Better nightlife.
LA.
Yeah, easily. Easily. I feel like
LA.
the one time I went to Boston, I think they kept the bottles or something like that, and they would only come out to pour. And I said,
You gotta realize, I played for the Patriots.
You were able to do what you wanted.
You could do that. We had a lot of wins. We had a lot of fun times. I love the nightlife in Boston, but you go to Boston, everyone's going to be watching you. You go to LA, you got the captain right next door. Ain't nobody watching you.
Yeah, nobody cares. Too many sports teams, too many celebrities, too many influencers. Right down
the street. You ain't go. You see Tom Hanks in Whole Foods, you ain't messing with him.
Right.
You ain't messing with me.
Better sports city as far as teams, fans, and traditions.
Oh, come on. It's like Titletown, Boston. I mean, I went to every damn championship there was in pro sport. I played in Super Bowls, won Super Bowls. I went to, the Bruins winning the Cup. I've been to the Red Sox winning the championship. Sat courtside with the Celtics winning the championship. So I've been to them all.
Boston.
You can't argue that.
Better vibe.
I like the Boston vibe.
Really?
You got LA. You know how LA is.
Yeah.
Everyone's an actor here.
Yeah, but
everyone's acting.
Yeah, but
you go to Boston, they might be a little meaner, but they're not meaner. They're just honest.
Is that what you're going to cover for them? Got it. Yeah. Honest.
But I tell you right now, you walk down the street in Boston, you say hi to someone, they're going to look at you sideways. You do that in LA, someone's going to be like, oh, what do you do? This, that. Oh, he. But if you walk down the street in Boston and something happened to you and you got hit or you were injured, or you needed help, that mean ass person that wouldn't say anything to you would help you more than the person in LA would help you.
Mm. Mm. Okay, solid right there. I that's
They'd be an asshole the whole time doing it, but they would help
they
you.
would help. How you running the street and you didn't see it coming? Huh? Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got I got a terrible Boston accent because I will never get it down.
Yeah,
It's
it's
it's tough.
tough. You
It's tough.
don't pronounce any R. It's like Harvard.
That's tough. Hey man, well I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate you hopping on the pod. Clearly I'm gonna have to come on your pod. With dudes on dudes with dudes. Um, would be our title.
Games with names, which is another fun podcast where we go over historical games in all sport
Ooh.
with someone that's played in the game to get their perspective on how they prepared, what the game vibe was like, what the celebrations were, what the pop culture was going around during that time. It's a fun way. So if you want to learn about dudes and what kind of dudes are, you go to Dudes on Dudes. But if you want to learn about games and you want to talk about historic games, you go to Games with Names. Dudes or games? Which one do you want? We got them both.
Great question. I need to know what type of dude I am or what type of dude I'm about to play. So probably, yeah.
We said stud.
Boom.
You're a stud. Pedigree.
Yeah, love
you got pedigree. Anytime you got all pros, you got Bowls, you got hella sacks everywhere. You've been on one team for your whole career. Like, that's a freaking stud.
Yeah, man. You know, Steve Jordan, Cam Jordan, 2 teams so far. You know, New Orleans Saints, Minnesota Vikings.
That's legacy too.
Legacy.
That's
Pedigree.
legacy. You came out of a stud too.
You know,
horses. You're part of that stud.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, when you said pedigree, I was like, dang, yeah, pedigree applies.
Yeah, I mean, you came from one.
Greatness. Anyways, let me get you out of here, man. I appreciate you for tapping in. Hey, this is Off the Edge with Cam Jordan. Man, I've had probably more fun than I expected to have, but who wouldn't when it's Julian Edelman on the other side, bro? Appreciate you guys out there again. I'm gonna ask you to leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. It's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Watch us on the NFL YouTube. You know, we're doing things. We want to continue greatness and continue success. I got guys, I got friends, I've got people galore coming on the pods over the next few more weeks, and we're gonna just keep on rolling. So thank you for tuning in Off the Edge with your host Cam Jordan. Appreciate you, Jules.
All day. Like and subscribe, unfollow, then follow again so we can break the algorithm. Comment in the comment section. Off the Edge. Greatness, a stud in Cam Jordan.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Hell yeah.